Hi, everybody. Thanks for always listening to WXED 107.3 FM in Elwood City. It's time for the weekly news wrap-up. This is DJ Nikki in the studio with the beautiful Miss Cassie from elwoodcity.org. Hi, Cassie.
Hello, Nikki. It's been a couple weeks.
I know. Our schedules just haven't been able to connect, but it's good that you're here today. I texted her and I said, hey, can you come in? And she texted me back and said, are you actually going to be there? Yeah. I'm late for everything.
That's between the two of us.
Yeah.
We both have been kind of off with the schedules, as you said. So
yeah,
it's like whenever you're here, I'm not, and vice versa.
Well, because you're a morning person and I'm not.
Yeah.
That's where that falls into play.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a morning person. I'd say that my job starts in the morning. So I'm just here.
So you're not a morning creature by chance.
No, I am definitely not.
Some people, they just like wake up whether they have an alarm set or not. Like my grandfather, he used to wake up at 5 a.m. No alarm, 5 a.m.
I feel like
every
a
day.
lot of elderly people are like that. Like my grandma's like that too. She'll go to bed at 8 and then she'll get up at like 6 in the morning, like every day.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, me neither.
I have to sleep in until at least like 10 o'clock on my days off.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like barely going to bed by sunrise. I'm a night person.
I am too. It honestly just depends on what I get into at night, especially because I'm most creative at night. So if I'm working on something, whether it's, writing or painting or anything that has to do with creativity, I definitely...
That's right. Creativity has no bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. So...
All right. So that was our little personal note about ourselves. We're going to get into the news because it's the weekly news wrap-up. So first off, I was telling you I had read this morning that there was a sentencing going on for a story that's kind of been going on for more than 2 years. It was, they ended up calling it manslaughter, and it was Jerry O'Rourke. The incident happened in 2014, but just, it was either yesterday morning or this morning, I read that Lisa Marie pled guilty. And the sentencing, actually, they let her use her time already served towards her sentence that she was given. She's already served 879 days.
Wow. And
they let that all go towards that. And her sentencing, like I said, was either yesterday or this morning, and she was given 4.5 to 6 years. Mm-hmm. So they said with time already served, she could be looking at as little as 2.5 years in Muncie.
Wow, that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I'm sure that there was a lot of extenuating details,
right,
that led to such a lenient sentence.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of background history with the victim and the two people that did it, and I think that it probably just came into play with the sentencing, because later in the article they also say that her son Zachary, who was the person who actually committed the
murder,
they were saying that he will likely be given the same plea deal. So they're just looking at a couple of years, and I don't know where he will be sent to after sentencing. I know that the article said that she was sent to Muncie and that she had already served 879 days in the Lawrence County Jail.
Right. I mean, judging by her...
Or was it Beaver County Jail? It was one of the local jails.
Judging by her picture there on the website, she looks rather happy for a mugshot.
I'm kind of thinking that they probably grabbed that picture from her Facebook, though.
You think?
Yeah, she's like wearing a tank top. You'd think that if it was a current picture, she'd be wearing the jumpsuit orange,
Well, maybe. I don't know. Usually if they take them from Facebook, it's usually linked as a Facebook picture, and it's not. So who knows? Either way, it's just a interesting picture to pair with a...
Well, the article had also said that Jerry O'Rourke's mother and his sister had to leave the courtroom during the sentencing. They were too upset. And I believe it said that only the father had stayed in the courtroom to even listen to the sentencing. And so they were upset about it. And they just said that although there was a history just fraught with turmoil between them, it was still a sad, discouraging moment that a person could be taken out of someone's life in just a few minutes.
Right.
It was just a moment in time. And something, you can't take it back.
Right.
And the proceedings that were going on stated that they ended up getting manslaughter for it because they did not intend on killing him. they said that it was an accident. So
right.
that's the reason. If people are wondering, like, well, why are they only getting such a small sentence? It's because they consider it to be manslaughter, and it wasn't any kind of premeditated murder or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so our next story, you want to talk about something sweet and uplifting to follow our murder sentencing.
Yes, I did.
So that's why we go good together. We're like, Oreo cookies.
Oh, yeah, maybe good and evil.
Right, exactly. We're like a little bit of bad, a little bit of good to weigh it out. And you always said that if you were going to hear good or bad news, you want to hear the bad news first.
Yeah, that is true. I'm glad that you remembered that, Nikki.
All right, so go ahead and tell me the sweet, uplifting news that you got.
Okay, well, I actually went with Jonathan, our previous journalist, on a walk because he told me that there are eagles in Elwood City that nest here every year, and I had no idea where this park was at. So I asked him to go with me, and we went to Rogers Park over in Elport. It's actually considered the Hole, and if you go on the nature trail there, it's not that far, maybe a couple 100 feet, right across.
I used to live right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
years ago.
Right across from the river, like you'll see this huge nest in the trees, and you'll see like it's kind of far away. If you have binoculars, though, like you're good. You can see basically everything. But if you don't have binoculars, you can kind of see like a silhouette of an eagle sitting in the nest, and if you're lucky, you might even see the babies like pop their head up.
Aww.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome that you can go over there and see bald eagles nesting in their own habitat. You know what I mean?
I used to live right there. I was the very last house before you go down into the hole, and years ago. But then my dad, before he moved to Florida, he lived over in North Weakley Township.
Right.
And they used to nest right in his backyard. And
that's
right along the Connicassin also. It's directly across from that trailer court that's right there by Chrissy's restaurant and all that. I can't remember the name of that trailer court, but it's right across from there. And he used to be able to sit on his porch and watch the bald eagles flying in and out of the woods right there.
Oh, that would be so amazing to see.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing to see them like this because, actually, this is the first time I've seen them in the wild. Every other time.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are. They are
when
huge.
I was a kid, it was that whole, I remember all my parents and grandparents talking about how the symbol of our national freedom, that I would never see them in my lifetime because they were going to be extinct. So it's pretty cool that they've made such a comeback that you're able to just see them even, taking a walk on a nature trail.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually believe that they were taken off the endangered list as well.
That's what I mean.
A couple years ago.
They've made a nice comeback from the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool to see that.
It just shows you that, the protective services that were put into play worked.
Yeah. They did.
So that was really cool. Somebody saw it as a problem. They said we need to conserve our nature that's, indigenous to this area. Not only for this area, but bald eagles. It's a sign of our, like I said, our freedom for our country.
Exactly.
So it's awesome that all the things they put into place so many years ago have worked out, and now our future generations will be able to see them, and not have to go to a zoo.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, when I was younger, the only bald eagle I'd ever seen was at the Pittsburgh Aviary.
Right. That's usually where I see a lot of those birds as well. All the rare ones.
Right.
I always thought it was like amazing to just see the hawks around here, but to actually see like, a bald eagle.
You know what else we saw? And I don't know how rare it is, but I'd never seen one in this area. I was out on Squaw Run Road a couple of days ago, and there were 2 giant, and I mean giant, turkey vultures.
Oh, no way.
Now, I don't mean like turkeys. These were turkey vultures. And I haven't seen one since I was a kid living on Old Pittsburgh Road. I remember we saw a turkey vulture, and it went to take off, and its wingspan was wider than our car.
Oh, my.
I mean, these things are big.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so we were driving up Squaw Run Road the other day, and I thought that they were regular big turkeys, so I slowed down because turkeys will, like, walk very slowly in front
they
of
do.
you. Yeah. But as soon as we got close, these things took off, and they were enormous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 turkey vultures. I thought that was cool.
Now that you mentioned that, actually down by my mom's house in Darlington, there was like a little stream, and whenever we'd come home from school, there would sometimes be a crane in the stream.
Yep, at my dad's place too. We used to see a giant, enormous. It was like a bluish gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought that was awesome. Whenever you see,
same.
Yeah, you see these giant birds. You're used to these little swallows and robins that you see in your yard.
Yeah, they're not very special, are they?
Right. Whenever you see the big giant birds, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Not used to that.
All right, so we have this. We went from bad news to good news
to informative.
So how about
news.
Informative? We'll just round it all out today. You want to talk about when the yard waste pickup is?
Yes. Yard waste pickup for Elwood City is scheduled for the week of May 15th, which means it goes from the 15th to the 19th. And there's a whole article on the website that gives details about bagging and if there's large
bins and all that.
Large disposable items.
We usually kick off by telling everybody that anything we talk about you can find on elwoodcity.org. I think that when we went into elwoodcity.org today to look into this, it's about 2 or 3 pages back. So you got to scroll down to the bottom of the page and hit more articles, and then scroll down. It's either 2 or 3. So if you guys want to read about the yard waste pickup, it is coming up here pretty soon.
Or if they just type in the search box yard waste pickup, it'll come up.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's easy. And then the other informative story that we have is former treasurer has been prohibited from attending the Elwood City Arts and Crafts Festival. And I don't know if that's infinitively or just, for a period of time. No,
it's until her sentence is up.
Oh, okay.
So it's the whole duration of her probation.
All right. So you also have the article about that on elwoodcity.org. We pulled it up. Susan Bleakney, 50 of Elwood City, was the previous Elwood City Arts and Crafts Food Festival and Entertainment Festival treasurer. And she was accused of misappropriating some funds.
Yeah. Yep. Upwards of $1,650. The Lawrence County Common Pleas Judge J. Craig Cox sentenced her to 18 months of probation, 20 hours of community service. She is ordered to repay the $1,650 of funds. And as we had said, as an added condition to her sentence, she is not permitted to attend the festival for the duration of her probation.
So, other than that, I think we wanted to also mention you attended the council thing last night.
Yeah, the council
candidates.
Yeah, which was actually surprisingly not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. There's 11 people running for candidate places on council, and only 4 of them showed up, 3 of which are already candidate members.
Oh, so they're already on council.
Yeah.
So there was only one new person
that showed up.
Showed up. Wow.
And
well, it had a nice turnout as far as residents go. They said that there were more than 50 residents in attendance.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's a shame that more candidates hadn't showed up. It seemed like a good opportunity to, touch base with people face to face.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea of it. I was actually surprised there was a better turnout with the school board in the sense of the running candidates than with council. It was really surprising, especially with all the issues that people...
Yeah, and that's the thing. So many people will complain about issues, but when it comes time to take time out of your own schedule and go there and express your concerns to the people that can actually make the difference, people don't tend to make time for that. So it's nice when you have a council meeting that has a good public turnout.
Right. Because
then you can see, listen, this is important enough. People are making time in their schedules to show up. And I don't know. I guess it's kind of a shame that last night was uneventful, but it's a good thing that you were there.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, got some good information out of it.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about in the weekly news wrap-up?
I think that's pretty much everything good that's happened this week.
All right. That's the good, the bad, and the informative here on the weekly news wrap-up, brought to you here on WXCD 107.3 and sponsored in part by elwoodcity.org. All the stories we talk about you can read about further by going to elwoodcity.org. And me, I'm like a scroll through the pages kind of person, but as Cassie pointed out, you can just type it in the search bar. I'm blonde, I do everything the hard way. All right, thanks Cassie for being here, and we'll see you next week for another weekly news wrap up.
All right, I'll see you, Nikki.